Всем привет! This time I decided to color picture with the Barbie. When I was a kid and teenager, I enjoyed coloring Barbies so much. I created some stories in my head about them because they were all different. That wasn't Barbie. They were different girls, and I gave them names and imagined some stories about them. And I had actually a dream when I was at school. During the whole my school years, I had a dream to become a writer. And I had so many ideas in my head. Maybe one day, I still believe that maybe I'll write something, because after school I stopped writing at all. I don't know. I had such a big stress at school. I didn't like it so much that I needed something to hide with my mind, to escape, to go out of the reality, I guess. And that's why I loved writing. Also, I read lots of books, and when you read a lot, you sooner or later, I guess, start writing. But when I finished school, my life became much more comfortable, and I don't know, maybe I didn't need writing to hide from stress any longer, and I just stopped. I can write something if I have it as a task, but I have stories in my head, but I don't know, I just don't feel the possession to write them down. But I like to think about them, to think about the details, and I believe that maybe one day I will do it. Maybe when I will be an old lady, if I live till this age. And then I'll write something, because now it seems to me that I would like more to do some more active things, not sitting and working with the text, because that's a lot of work with the text. We're training how to write, because as with drawing, with all kinds of art, you can't just sit and write well, in most of the cases. Usually you have to train the skill like everything else. So anyway, it will take some time. And now I just want to do, as I said, something more active in my life. But by the way, about Barbies, I never loved playing with them. I don't know, they seem too boring for me. I had Barbies, but someone bought it for me, someone gave it as a present, and I never played with them. Once I had a pregnant Barbie. She had this pregnant abdomen. You could open it, and inside was a baby. You could pull it out and you could play with this baby. He had small baby stuff, bottles, some clothes, lots of things. And I remember that I threw out Barbie and left just this baby and his small stuff, because it was quite nice, and Barbie, I didn't know what to do with Barbie. And I had some small animals, and they were raising up this baby, not Barbie. Barbie dead or something. I think I want to make some colorful hair with this Barbie. Maybe red one. Maybe I will do something, some different parts, but I'm not sure. That's not red, that's orange. Yes, as you can see, I still don't make very suitable colors to each other, because I don't I try not to think because I want to have a rest for my brain, not to think about colors and tones. And that's why all my Barbies were not really beautiful as they could be, but what can I do then? Someone asked me a question in the comments about music, what kind of music I like. I think that's the most difficult question for me because I can't really answer it because I listen very different music. I think I can listen music of all genres, but I mean it depends on my mood. For example, now I want to listen some classical music and then some stupid rap and then some song from a TV series opening theme or something, or some rock music. The only thing I can say that I'm very simple listener. I mean that I know only some very popular things, so I can listen all genres, but only the most popular things from these genres. For example, some people, they like to find something unusual, some bands which are not really famous but they are sounding cool. That's not about me. I just listen very basic things in all genres. For example, if I listen classical music, so that's something from top 50 or 100 best classical songs of all the times, and the same things with the other genres, maybe not even 50 or 100, but even less. So I'm not really interested person in this stuff. I wanted to make some different colors, but I forgot about them. Maybe I'll try later when her hair will be dry. And yes, before these videos, when I show my hands, I always I try to do something with my nails because my nails are not beautiful because I have this bad addiction. I bite them, I rip them, yeah. That's why my nails always look terrible, and I do it since I remember myself, and I remember myself since I was 3 years old. And I even tried to drop it with a psychologist, but with a psychologist I understood that I can't do this because I like it, and you can't leave your bad addiction if you like it until you like it. So I think that's the problem of all bad addictions, that you like the process and you don't like the result. But with psychologist I understood that I don't like long nails because I'm not used to them, because all my life my nails were like that and I don't feel comfortable with long nails. So anyway, even if I wouldn't even if I would leave them alone, they wouldn't be long. So maybe one day I'll think about it, I'll create something, but every time I think no, not any longer, and then it comes the moment when I want to do something with them and my brain says to me, oh, if you like it, why can't you just do this? What's the problem? And I destroy my nails. And then I think, oh, now I need to take care of them. I need to wax them, I need to polish them, I need to do some manicure. I tried to do some manicure after I absolutely destroyed my nails. And that's funny. So I try to neutralize the the hurt I made. So I tried to change destroying nails to taking care, but now I just do both. I just destroy them, and after that I take care after them, and that's really funny. I think that's very typical addictional behavior. And I don't know, of course, I can't compare in my personal experience, but it seems to me that it's more difficult to drop it than if you are drinking or smoking, because at least to drink and smoke you have to go in to buy it, and your nails are always with you, and you can even not notice that you're touching them, and that's a problem, of course. And I guess there are not so many people who've been drinking and smoking since they were babies, and then I think I was touching my nails even when I was a baby, if I remember myself, since 3 years old. So that's very difficult because I do it for almost all my life. And that's not even my fault, because I didn't start doing it when I was like a stupid teenager or something. I started doing it when I wasn't even in my mind. I can say I was a baby. So that's upsetting, of course, but maybe now I'm talking about them, and it will help me a little, but I'm not sure, because that won't make me not to like it any longer. I don't know, because when you are anxious, and I'm an anxious person, and you worry about something, your stress is so you can't bear it so much that you need to do something. But I don't know, sometimes I don't even feel it as a stress. Sometimes I just want to do it, but I just think how it works. So yeah, that's a tricky thing with my nails. And I don't know, if you have some bad addictions you don't like, you can write how you dropped it, because it's always interesting to read about some other experience of the other people. I think it's very important to share your experience. At least group therapy is seemed to be very effective. The psychologist told me that, and I read it a lot. I wanted to tell also about professions which I wanted to choose when I was a kid, because I wanted to choose so many different professions. I always change in my mind. I told you the previous time, that my boyfriend, when I was in elementary school, he was a hockey player, and he told me at our 8-9 years old that he will be a hockey player, and he was absolutely sure in that, and he became a hockey player, and I was so impressed then. And with me it never was like that, and actually I don't know many people with whom it was like that. I remember, by the way, I think now I can maybe try to add some other color. I remember that my first profession I wanted to choose was a policeman when I was maybe in kindergarten, because my grandmother and we watched the TV series about Rex, the police dog Rex, and I was so impressed with Rex, and I thought that if you are a policeman, all the policemen have Rex just from their work, and I wanted to have Rex so much that I thought that I will be a policeman. And also we had a TV program for kids. We still have it. And the one of the showrunners was a woman who was Miss Russia, maybe 25 or 30 years ago, and after that she became a TV showrunner for this TV program. It was evening program for kids before they go to sleep. And she was ex-policewoman too. And that's why also I knew that she was ex-police woman. And I was like, oh, policeman is so cool, policeman, policewoman. I'm going to be like she and like this man in Rex. And I'm going to have a police dog. Then I wanted to be a dentist because my father was a dentist, and I think as a typical kid I wanted to have the same profession as my father, as the parents have. I just repeated after my father, and that's it. Then I remember that I wanted to be a shop assistant in a shop with different cosmetics, perfumes, and all that stuff in cosmetic shop. And it was when I was 10 years old, and my friend and I, we wanted to be these shop assistants, and we discussed how much shop assistant earns. And I asked my mom, and my mom said 10 or 15,000 rubles. And for these times, this was maybe, oh, that's so difficult to count. $1 was $1 was 30 rubles, so 15,000 rubles was $500. No, I don't remember. So that's I guess it was $300 maybe. Yes? No. $500. I don't remember. Count something. Count someone, please. So it was a small sum, really small sum. But I was so happy. I was like, wow, 15,000 rubles. And I told my friend, wow, we could be shop assistants. Also, I remember that when I was in the first grade, when I was 7 years old, I thought, and I discussed with my friend, that why our moms gave us birth so late, in 22 years old. I told my friend, what to do till 22 years old? I'm going to give birth a baby when I'll be 16. And yeah, I thought that 16 is so long, not long, so big age, so you're adult. When I was in the elementary school, guys in high school seemed to me so adult, really like real adult. By the way, we had we all were in one building, so kids in first grade and teenagers finishing the school, so I saw them. We just were on different floors, so we were on the first floor and they were higher, but that's quite typical for Russian school, that everyone studies together, but not in all school. Maybe 60% exactly. So, and since I was 7 years old, I also wanted to become a writer. And everyone told me that writer is not a profession. You need to have normal profession, And in addition to this profession, you can be a writer. I guess they were right, because I think if you are an art person, I mean person who works in art sphere, usually you don't make money with it and you work somewhere else. But I didn't. I think the writer was the thing I wanted the most all the time. And I thought, no, I want to be a writer. And since the 7 years old, I just wanted once to be a shop assistant, and then I just wanted to be a writer every time. But when I was, I think these brows are too bright. I didn't want them to be like that, but okay. I hope it will be fine. So, what I was talking about. When I was 14 years old, I started cooking by myself, and I loved cooking so much. And I started, wow, this is so purple. I didn't expect that it's gonna be so purple. Well, okay, never mind. I watched Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay and different his shows. I really loved it, and I decided, oh, I will be a cooker. It's so cool to be a cooker. I can tell you that I'm really happy that is it violet? What color is it? Okay, let it be suitable to lipstick. That looks really weird, but I as I said, I wasn't going to do something with the colors. But now I want to do this, how to call it, paste thing, in at least in one color with eyes or lipstick, to make it a bit better. So I wanted to become a cooker so much. I wanted to go to London and study in London Culinary School. And I thought, oh, it's so expensive, how am I going to study? What to do? And I didn't know what to do. And then, now I think that I want to change color here too, because no, but now it's so suitable with the hair. No, I don't want to change the color. Or I do, or I just add the line here, the same with the lipstick, and I hope it will be fine. Usually I don't try at all, but now I feel that maybe I need to do it a bit better. I think that didn't help at all. Maybe I can do it like that. By the way, my father, he had, I don't know how to call it in English, when you can't distinguish the tones of the colors. Don't know how to call it. So he didn't have it in some heavy form, but he couldn't distinguish some tones. And I think I see some tones a bit different. I see them brighter than they are, because sometimes people name different tones and I see it in other way and name it differently, but not really strong. So that's it. I'm not going to touch your skin. Maybe I could do some eyeshadows. Okay, let's think how else I could spoil it. What if we try to do something orange here? Just like that. Maybe we could add some cheeks. Just a little. everywhere a little, like this. Yes, something like this. I think we could. I hope it will be better then. Oh, I could use something like this. Okay, let's pretend that it's fine. It's fine. Maybe I even could do some birthmark, for example, here, like Marilyn Monroe. Yes, like that. So, we finished with this one, this girl. Let's go to the next one. How do you like this girl? I think she's quite beautiful, but I'm not sure that she's Barbie. Because I found these pictures on Pinterest as Barbie pictures, but I don't really believe that they are. So, yes, I wanted to become a cooker, but then I understood that this profession is quite heavy. So, I mean, physically heavy. And that's different things if you cook at your nice cozy kitchen and if you cook in a restaurant. So only maybe if you are a private cooker in some private family, I mean private house in a family, but I wasn't sure that this is what I really want. So I understood that I was just impressed with the show and nothing more. So I thought that I'm just going to be a writer, but after school I needed to go somewhere to the university, because in Russia it's very important to go to university. I mean, everyone talks about that, and that's a problem because people don't want to go on working professions. They try to go in the university because it's prestigious. But actually, after university, you probably will get problems with work, with salary, because there are lots of managers nowadays and no plumbers, for example, or people who work with electricity. So some people who can fix something, auto mechanicals. Yeah. So I thought I need to go to university where, and for this period of time I loved reading, drawing and writing. And my mom, she once told me that her friend's daughter studies history of art. And I thought, oh cool, that's something I could study. And I applied the university, the Academy of Arts, and that was the only place I applied, nowhere else. And everyone told me that I'm crazy. By the way, talking about craziness here, I want firstly to make the lipstick. Let's make it first. Something like this, and I don't want it to be so bright. They told me that I'm crazy because they thought, what are you going to do if you won't pass? Because it's just one university, just one faculty. And I said, nothing, I'm going to do nothing if I want to pass. I really had no plan, I just had no doubts that I'll pass, and I passed. Despite my final exam results were not so good, but I passed. I just was lucky, I guess. And I really want to do her cheeks pink here like I did there, but I'm afraid to spoil it. I'm really afraid to spoil it. I can just try, but I'm really afraid. Oh my god. do it maybe like this. Okay, that's very light, very slightly, so I hope that it will be fine. So, and I passed History of Arts, and when it was the first course, I started studying there. So what I wanted to tell, I want to do her pink hair. Yes, I think that will be cool idea. And during the first year of my education, I understood that this is not what I wanted. I saw that these people there, they are really ready to talk about art with all this pathos, with, I don't know, that irritated me. I understood that, by the way, what else, why I wanted to go to History of Art? Because I really loved museums. I didn't like school, but I loved the museums, and I love that museums can educate you in some interesting way, because I saw that school can't do this. Normally, maybe some schools can, but I didn't have this experience. And I saw that museums are so cool, exhibitions are so cool. Mostly I visited Germany 2 times when I was at school, and 1 time just after school, and Germany is a country with the best museums I ever visited. Well, maybe there are some better museums, but that's in my experience. And I was so impressed, and I thought, wow, it's so cool to work in the museum, to educate people in some interesting way. But very soon I understood that, firstly, my education was more about pictures, sculptural, I think about some pictorial art, I would call it, and very classical art. That was not bad, but I was expecting that we are going to study different kind of arts, like dancing, music, or literature. We studied literature, by the way. Okay, that wasn't a problem, but I thought it's cinema, something like that. And then you can choose what are you going to study deeper. But no, we studied just a little bit literature and some pictorial arts. Not some, all pictorial arts, I guess. And that was very interesting, just to listen for your self-education. But I felt that that's not what I'm going to do as a profession, to discuss pictures, to do it with this smart face, sculptures, to say, oh, artist wanted to show here in this play of tones this, yes, that was not my cup of tea. I was more simple person. Despite I loved reading, I loved educating myself, but not in this way. I didn't like all this posh stuff. Of course, people there, they could joke about art, they could laugh, but I don't know. Sometimes it seemed to me that I'm the extra person there. But when I was on the 3rd year of my studying, I start writing science works, because we needed to write science work since the 1st year of studying, because the profession of art historian is very about that you write some scientific stuff. So since the 1st year we needed to do researches and write about it, about different pictures or whatever you choose. And I wasn't unlucky, because the first years I had a terrible tutor, scientific tutor, who led my scientific work, and I thought that I can't do anything, that I'm stupid, but she just couldn't explain me that, and I understood that, because other people, they tried to avoid her and not to work with her because she was a bit crazy and she always shouted, didn't explain anything normally. And I thought that it's me stupid. I even wanted to leave. But that was not my problem. That was her problem and I just didn't know that. And then on the third year, of my education, I started working. I finally changed her. And I started working with so wonderful old lady. She was the head of our faculty of foreign art. And she was so inspiring. She loved this so much. And she was such a good teacher that somehow it made me to believe that that's what I like. I met with her, we discussed my work, and I'm a very hard-working person, by the way. And I tried so hard, she inspired me so much, and she saw that I try hard. I dedicated so much time to these researches, to writing these works, to make them so wonderful. And that's why my results were great. So with one teacher I thought that I'm nothing and I wanted to leave this place, and with the other I understood that I'm really cool in that. And I was the best on my course with writing these researches. I really loved doing researches, and I started thinking, wow, I'm going to become a scientist. Yes, and that still wasn't my cup of tea. God, I think I made a terrible browse, but what can I do? Nothing else. So I thought, I want to be a scientist. I like making researches so much. But it was a bit worrying for me that I still didn't feel that I'm a good art historian. So I just loved making researches, but I wasn't really into art in general. So, I mean, not in this deep education of art. It wasn't like, oh, I'm really interested with some topic and I want to research it. No, it was about I want to make a research. I loved working with information, to separate important and not important information, to combine information, to write the information clearly without any, as we call it in Russia, water. When something not important, you can cut it out without any problems. So that's what I loved. I think I loved maybe working with the text, I don't know, with the final result of the work, with the presentation of the work, but not with, really, I made some terrible brows. Okay, never mind. And I felt strange because of this, but I thought, oh, that's never mind. I do such a good researches. Maybe I could get master degree and then doctor degree and become a teacher in the university and become a professor like my headmaster. And I was doubting, but still. And then happened the end of my bachelor degree. I wrote my thesis work, I tried so hard, and then I felt so disappointed. I felt so madly disappointed when I saw that no one cares about this. I don't know, should I make your eyes the same color or eyeshadows? Okay, let it be like that. Yes, no one cared at all. No one read my work except except two people. Well, two people is not so bad actually. Usually it's just one people, your headmaster and your people who checks your work, person who checks your work. And usually it's just one person, your headmaster. So I was lucky. I saw when we had this, the day when you protect your, we call it protection, when you show your thesis work, tell about this, what's the importance of your work. I saw that no one cares at all. I saw that people who did nothing during the whole study, they just got not excellent but good marks maybe. And I saw how they do their work. They didn't try at all, and no one cares. Everyone just behaved like it's normal. And I think I was very disappointed with it. Of course, that was not the main reason, because if I really liked it, I wouldn't be. I thought, yes, it's like that, but at least I like it and I'm going to continue and just do what I do. But I think the problem was that I didn't like it, and that's why I was disappointed. And I got my master's degree, by the way, even after that. But I was getting this master's degree with such crazy disappointments that, yeah, I wanted to leave every time. Oh, I want to do something with her nails too. Yeah, just add pink color everywhere. And the last girl, the third one. I think she's very like anime girl. I was so disappointed, and I thought, oh my god, what to do? That was my aim for future. What to do then? And I did yoga that period of time, and I loved it so much. I had classes maybe 5 times a week, 3 hours, different types of yoga or health fitness, body and mind fitness. That's very calm type of fitness where you need to feel your movements, like Pilates, yoga, stretching. So not aerobics, not some loud and intensive workouts. So I love this body and mind fitness so much, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be fitness instructor. But I understood that for this I need to change my profession, and I wasn't sure. With that, I wasn't really ready. And what happened then? So I wasn't ready for such experiments, and I just decided to go to the museum, to work in the museum, because I'm a museum worker. And I went to museum and worked as a guide. And this work was cool. I can say I really loved it, because again it was work with information, and I really like giving the information to people. I not like a teacher, but to tell them something, like I do now, for example. And that was cool, because I could understand what is more interesting, what is less interesting, what I would like to tell the people, and what I would prefer to avoid. I saw how the other guides work, and I understood that I will never be the best one because I'm an introvert, but at least I know how to make it interesting and not boring, and not to give too much extra information which they don't really need. And I thought that that's really cool. That's a really cool skill which I have. And then I thought, oh, I could work as a guide for tourists. And I wanted to get a license and work with tourists, with foreigners, for example, because I thought, oh, I can use language, I can practice it. That's so cool. What kind of hair to do? Oh, I want to do white hair. So I wanted to say that I wanted to become this guide for tourists, to get a license. And then COVID started. Just in the year when I wanted to get this license, I was lucky that I didn't pay for that, at least, because I would just lose my money. Because this license, you need to renew it each several years. And I still was working in the museum when it was open, of course, because it was closed half a year during the pandemic. And that was very difficult. I couldn't understand what to do because my profession was just destroyed during this period of time. And then 1 or 2 years passed. I saw that pandemic is almost over, things are going a bit better. And I thought, oh, maybe now I can get a license and work with the tourists. Finally, they soon will be here. And I wanted to work with foreigners. And then sanctions started. I was lucky again because I was already going to pay for the license, and then all these things happened. And to this time I understood that I don't want to work in the museum any longer because it was cool. People there were very cool. I met some new friends there. I made new friends there. I met so many interesting people. We had so interesting talks there and discussions. We discussed everything, I guess. Each working day was so interesting and cool, and I knew a lot of stuff. But the work itself wasn't interesting because you just repeated again and again the same things as a parrot or robot, sometimes several times a day. And I worked there almost 3 years, and in 3 years I felt tired, and that was typical for people who work there. Usually after 2 years they were really exhausted with this work and left. And there was no way to go higher. That was the specific of that museum. And it happened so that I was fired from the museum that period of time. In a month after all this situation happened, sanctions happened. But I was so tired that I was happy. I was so tired of this work, I burned out. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do then? And my friend, who also worked there, and she left 1 month or 2 months before I did, she said, I'm going to become a Pilates instructor. And we applied together the University of Physical Culture and Sport, and we got free education there. Yes, I was lucky to get all my university education for free, by the way. So also I visited some other different schools of fitness. I got many all these diplomas, and I love doing exercises for myself. And I thought, well, at least if it won't work out, I will exercise by myself. And I even tried to work in some fitness studios. After that I understood that I want to work remotely, because you can spend 1 hour to get there to have 1 lesson, and they were going to pay you like $7 or $8 for that, for 3 hours, for example, 1 hour there and 2 hours of the road. Sometimes, of course, it was 2 lessons, but still, I thought I want to work remotely. Yeah. So it's kind of tricky thing to understand what do you want, I think, because sometimes I blamed myself so much that I applied the history of art and I don't like it. I thought, wow, I even talked with a psychologist, and I mean, I did this prof orientation. Oh my god, what I did with your hair. Some crazy stuff. So, and I thought, how can I be so wrong? Could I be so wrong? That I don't like my education, I don't know what to do. And then I understood that that's never mind if you change the profession, because then I believed that if you had university education once, you just work like that the whole of your life, because I had only this kind of examples in my life, like my parents. It was, I guess, quite typical in Soviet Union. You just got an education and you do this for the whole of your life. Yeah. And my friends were too young, so I couldn't see their experience. They were just students like I did. And I thought that my life is over, because I thought, what I'm going to do? I don't like my profession I chosen. But no, it's okay. You can have two professions. You can change your profession. You can get new education. So many of my friends, they don't work according to their education. And many of my friends are still seeking for what they want to do, what they want to do in their life. And now I see that it's okay, nothing terrible, which happens. So yeah, something like this. I really don't like what I did with your hair here in this part. Maybe I could fix it somehow. But maybe it's okay, by the way. It's okay. Fine. So if you have any doubts in your profession, I hope that you don't. But I hope that you don't blame yourself as I did, that you did something wrong. Also, I think in Russia, it's like in Asia. I think Russians in this case, they are more like Asians, because they are like, you are 25, for example, and you don't have your own business. Oh my god, you're such a loser. And Western people, as I see, they are so calm with that. They're like, I'm 30 years old and I'm a student and I'm okay with that. I think in Russia, well, now of course it's much better, but before, if you're a 30 years old student, everyone is like, I heard a phrase like shit in the river. When you're a grown-up person, or even not grown up, but you don't know what to do. If they could say, oh, you're like shit in the river. Don't know what do you want from your life. And in Western countries, it's quite okay not to know what do you want from your life, to change something in your life, even to change really hard. And I heard about the gap year after school. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but in Russia, I can't imagine a gap year. If you don't apply somewhere after school, that's terrible. That's crazy. That's, what are you going to do the whole year? Of course it happens, but that's not something normal. We talk in Russia about China, how it's terrible, how it's difficult, what they do to kids with the educational system. But actually Russian educational system is not really better. It's also very requiring, and we study lots of stuff we don't really need them, never, and which some people in Western countries study only in university if they've chosen it as a specialization. And we study it at school, for example, some difficult kind of mathematics. I don't understand why. I think we are not so far from Chinese system. We also have 6-day school, for example. So Saturday is a not day off. We study on Saturday, not in all schools, but in many. And if your school don't study or doesn't study like that, then you just have more lessons in the rest of the 5 days. When I heard that in Switzerland kids have 4 days a week, I'm not sure, but I read once that they have a day off on Wednesday to have a rest from school. I was ready to cry because I had only one weekend at the time when adults have 2 weekends, and I thought, why? It's crazy. What the hell is that? And that was not enough for me at all, this one day. Also, my school was quite far from my home. It took maybe more than an hour to get there. And when you have just one weekend, that's crazy. Yeah, something like that. So I think I can finish, because I think I'm ready with this girl. Anyway, now I try to make it more, the tones more suitable to each other. Maybe because now I'm with the camera and I feel that I need to try hard. Somehow, maybe I could do some, I don't know how to call it, wrinkles, not wrinkles, sunny spots, maybe. Or not. No, I don't want. Maybe to add some pink cheeks again. I don't know, I just want to add them so much. But by the way, sorry for my stomach. If you hear it, I don't know. I ate recently, maybe that's why I have these stomach sounds. But again, I can't do anything. Sorry. Yes. Oh, I wanna do some background. I think I would love to do some nice background. Yes. So that's how I started. And I think it happens with all of us when we don't know what to do, when we change our mind. That's not so terrible, as we can think. And the older I become, the less requirements I have to myself. Because when you are young, you think that everything is going to be according to your plans. And if something is wrong, you think that it's your fault. And then you just accept that it can happen. Nothing is usually go according to your plans. Or just very small things go like that. So that's not because of you. You just relax and don't care. Everything is fine with you. So, yeah. I think that's it. A bit more here, maybe. Fine. That's fine. So, I'm done. Thank you for watching. Hope it was interesting. And